introduce yourself and the folks with you this morning.
Be happy to. I'm George Christianson. I represent the applicant for the LERTA. Next to me is Jeff Camp, and next to him is Dan Hudson. We are here, and I've sent to your chief clerk the request for placing a property located in Union Township on LERTA. We have communicated with Mr. Seaman, your assessment officer, in regard to the figures on the taxes. Taxes will remain as they are until something is built. As in all LERTAs, there is an incremental increase in the taxes after it is built. We went to Union Township on the 11th of December, and I have given to Mr. Seaman and will gladly give to your office here the designation by Union Township that the property in question is eligible for LERTA. Union Township, township has to do that first. They then pass another resolution certifying that for their taxes that it would be eligible for LERTA. I have given a copy of that to Mr. Seaman also. Both of these gentlemen have appeared here before to describe the project. I would like to have them describe it briefly again. And Mr. Hudson, you want to go ahead?
Hello again. As you know, we own Pantoni Development Company, and a venture with a large pension fund owns 2 of the 3 buildable sites there at the Lickdale location. Jeff Camp's firm, Vision Properties, owns the other parcel. We're desirous of a LERTA to be competitive with the other jurisdictions that are approving projects like ours. I think there have been roughly 10 projects over the last year and a half that have been built, and all of those that are leased have had LERTA designations. I think, as we commented last time, corporate America and the occupants of these buildings tend to look at overall operating costs when they look at projects and sites to choose. Clearly, real property taxes are a large component of that, and to be competitive, we're desirous of a LERTA designation for our property.
I think that it's important to mention that the tax for the LERTA is not going back to the developer. We do triple net leases, so the taxes are the burden of the tenant direct. So the LERTA would go to the tenant direct, not to the developer.
You have projected taxes for Mr. Seaman, and basically the taxes on this land at the present time are approximately $35,000 a year. Is that correct?
Actually, George, they're less than that. I think, Dan, the $35,000 figure would be the stepped up new number for the land basis of taxation, and then that would hold for a 10-year period. And under a phase-in period, if with no tenants, taxes would remain flat at that $35,000 figure. With tenancy, the taxes would, under a LERTA program, the taxes would then increase in the first year from $35,000 to $81,000 a year, and almost $81,000 a year thereafter. So it's increasing from 81.
Would be the $81,000 a year increase, is that correct?
Roughly, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it would be 81 plus 35, starting the year after it's completed.
That's correct.
And that's what I had asked about last time with the research. And is that right, Dan? The numbers are right there?
Well, no, it'll go to the 81,000.
So it's not 81 plus 35, it goes to 81. Okay.
And the projections which they've given you, Mr. Seaman, which you've gone over and feel are correct, after 10 years after it is built, the tax revenue is anticipated to be what? $893,000 a year. In substance, in order to get industry to come in, you're competing obviously with everybody around you. Berks County basically has gotten someone who might have been in here if we had come in for LERTA beforehand. It was anticipated that obviously when this is approved, it's been approved by Union Township. If you approve it, already discussed it with the school district. The school district has not voted on it yet. We anticipate that in January. Hopefully, we'll be able to see the kind of tax revenues together with also the job revenues which will be generated by this.
Yeah, there were, I quoted 7 buildings that were built that had LERTA designations, and you probably are familiar with many of these requirements, but one was for Unilever for 1.4 million square feet, PetSmart for 890,000 square feet, Dollar General for 1 million square feet, Southwire down in York, those two were in Berks. First was in Cumberland County, Southwire in York County for 350,000 square feet, Crayola in Northampton County for 800,000 square feet, Walmart in Northampton County for 1,200,000 square feet, and Procter & Gamble is building a new facility in Franklin County for 1.6 million square feet. Our estimate on those 7 facilities is that they're about, pardon my math, 1,100, they're about 3,500 jobs associated with just those 7 transactions. So our hope is that by providing LERTA on what could be an additional 1.8 million square feet of development here, that we will spur that development and bring those jobs to the county sooner, as well as the tax revenue.
So if we don't have 3,500 people, do you predict they'll drive here or will they locate here? What is the trend?
No, these 3,500, I'm sorry, these 3,500 are the employees throughout, associated with new transactions in 5 separate counties. We think the jobs associated with our particular project are more like 500 to 600 jobs.
For your, about 1,000 altogether. It
Correct.
depends if it's a pick and pack. And we have done extensive labor studies. We're thinking with the city of Lebanon, with driving distance and all, that those employees probably live here already.
Okay, you think there's enough to fill
Yeah,
your
we
need?
absolutely do. We did this, the realtors did a employment study for us here versus the employment and the amount of square footage in Cumberland County in the Carlisle area. And there's a lot of employee base here.
I will take a motion.
Stop move to approve the LERTA for this project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I would like to, I don't necessarily have a question, but I would like to comment on this. In your review of large warehouses that have been built and LERTA's approved, interestingly enough, there was none in Dauphin County, if I'm not mistaken.
That's great.
And the reason is that Dauphin County has elected not to approve LERTA's for warehouses, because warehousing doesn't really bring family-sustaining jobs to the community. So I think we're re-looking and rethinking these LERTA's, and should we be selective in what types of industries are brought in relationship to the LERTA. And I have to be very honest with you, I have to swallow hard to vote for these LERTA's, and I know we hear, you know, we're entrapped now because other communities and other counties have done it. My personal wish, if I could wave my magic wand again, would be that none of us would be doing this, because folks in our community that find it difficult to pay their taxes, we can't do a LERTA for them. So I am prepared to vote for it, but those are just some of my feelings concerning it. So.
I understand the sensitive nature of negotiating with a company that's coming in. First of all, you have 3 sites. Do you imagine 3 different companies, or do you envision maybe 2? Or?
It's 3 separate buildings, and so in all likelihood, I suspect there'll be 3 separate users.
Can you characterize how negotiations are going? Are you on a timetable you hope to have them tenants?
Yeah, it's actually been a little bit slow, and that's one of the reasons that we're here today. I think our site is perceived by everybody as being one of the best located sites in that 8178 corridor. We fare very well from a jobs perspective and a labor force standpoint. There have been a series of deals that we've seen and looked at, and I don't envision the flow of transactions slowing. So our hope is that we're in a position, certainly by the summer or the fall, to be under construction.
Thank you.
Dennis, do you have anything to add? You were you're a supervisor in the
No,
township.
we didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. We were all in favor, unanimous, we were all in favor.
All right, then we're ready for the vote then. All those in favor of approving the LERTA as presented indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.